This is the Your Money Hour podcast. And I want to say good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. Whether you're working or listening to the show in California, Utah, around the world, wherever you are, thank you for joining us. I am Dakota Grady, your host. And today I have a guest. But before we get started, if you're struggling with your finances and it's Christmas time, you're stressed out, you're worried, I got your back. Check out my website at dakotagrady.com to get a copy of my book, Financial Hope, and to help you during this time and even after the holiday season. Get a copy for yourself and for your family and friends at dakotagrady.com. If you're a nurse practitioner who has a business and you need help with accounting and taxes, as well as business advisory solutions, check out my website at theatdoc.com. That's theatdoc.com. So my guest today is Lekesha Benson, who is the owner of Vita Lush, which is a beauty, cosmetic, and personal care company in, I think, Seneca, South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. So I wanted to invite her to the show. Without further ado, Lekesha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my honor to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your time. So I know you're busy. You're an entrepreneur, a mom, and you recently got elected to the Seneca City Council. Is that correct?
I did, yeah. So now it's Councilwoman Benson.
All right.
Right? Still new for me.
So tell everybody about who you are and what you do.
Well, as you said, I'm Lekesha Benson. I am from Seneca, South Carolina, originally, always a South Carolina native. And I work as a direct care counselor and youth advocate, but full-time. But I started a cosmetic business or eco beauty brand, I guess, in my kitchen years ago, really just to create, as a mom that didn't make a lot of extra money to buy some of the nice stuff that she liked. And also my son had eczema. And so thought, how can I started looking at natural ways to relieve it. You're on a budget, you're trying to find solutions. So that's really what it was. And then, people kept pushing me, hey, you can make money off of this. So it's not why I started. It actually started as a hobby, turned it into a business. And actually, I don't work full-time for anybody else anymore. I work part-time for somebody else and for myself as well. So
awesome. So how did you, so you sound like you had a knee, your son had, you said eczema, which is like a skin condition, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you saw the need and you filled it. It filled the gap basically, right?
Yeah. I found that it was more affordable for me to do it myself, to be honest with you. We were spending so much money on products. And some of the products had side effects, especially like the steroidal creams that the doctors would prescribe. They worked very well, but they had side effects that I didn't want to use those that much on my baby. He was young. And so I started researching, right? I worked all the time. Sometimes I was just in the office and I started just Googling, well, what can I use that's natural? It's not going to have these side effects. And started whipping up stuff. And that kind of, how people bake for fun, it kind of became therapeutic for me to get in the kitchen. I don't bake, I don't really cook either, but I was in the kitchen whipping up products with shea butter and, various other natural ingredients. And surprisingly, it worked. So, I just did that for a while. And then, I like fragrance. I have a lot of allergies myself. And so I started figuring out, well, if Bath and Body Works makes me sneeze, but how can I use that, stuff that smells good? But because I'll be honest with you, I didn't like the way natural products smelled. I hated the way it smelled. So, but I wanted to not put those harsh chemicals. The more I learned, the more I realized a lot of the stuff we put on our skin is actually toxic. And and so I didn't realize that there are ingredients in sunscreen that cause skin cancer. I mean, it's just unreal.
Wow.
And so the more I learned, the more I knew. It's I became a kitchen chemist. I started I'll bore you with the details of of the stuff I just randomly started knowing. And then so in my house, we stopped using a lot of the store-bought products for that reason. And so I started, adding fragrance to it and then giving it for gifts, and people want, hey, can you make this for my mom or my mother-in-law? And then it started costing me money again. Like I couldn't keep giving it away. And I first tentatively started selling it, not really to make a profit, just to break even. And then it just didn't make sense to not try to make money off of it, because and turned it into like a side income. I joked and said that was my kids' college plan, and that's where that money went. It was my kids spending money and savings. And because I wasn't making enough money to save. I was just living paycheck to paycheck. And then after the death of my oldest son, I took a little time off work, and then I just bam, he really thought it could be like a big business. And I thought, well, why don't I try? And I did. And here we are.
Wow. So you're a legal drug dealer. In the kitchen, whipping it up.
Yeah. That's funny.
Interesting. That's very interesting, because you learn how to do a skill. Well, just learning. You self-taught yourself.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
That's scary, because they're selling things on the market that are basically killing us, right? In a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Sunscreen.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, there are some ingredients for sure that they call now. They say they're safe because they're in such small doses, but it's still like it's a carcinogen. So it causes skin cancer, which is what you're using it to prevent.
Right.
So
wow.
And there are natural things that the earth has given you that have natural SPF. Shea butter, for instance, provides natural SPF. So you can use natural products. I really just think that nature has given us everything that we need. Now, that being said, I don't want to say, everything all natural is great, because there are poisonous things in nature, right? There are things in nature that cause you to have allergic reactions. So, I wouldn't just say, just because somebody says it's natural, go buy it up. But I know for me that I've researched and studied, and I, test everything. If there's anything that I'm selling, it's been tested thoroughly and lab tested as well before I put it out, because I didn't want to get sued.
Right.
As I grew, right. But, started off, I was just in my kitchen. I just wanted my son to stop scratching.
Right. Have you had any things that you sold that didn't work?
No, I don't think so. I will say that for different people, like for instance, the eczema cream, and that's a big seller. You don't want to sell people false hope. It does not cure eczema, right? Now, if you see my son, and he's, he probably gets me the most sales, because we used to call him itchy scratchy, like the scratch, his skin was discolored and everything. Well, now you never see him with a shirt on. He's got this beautiful, flawless skin. And he grew up, he's a little kid when I started. He's 23 now, so he's handsome collegiate athlete. So you wouldn't ever think that he had skin issues. And for him and for myself as well, I have eczema. It has completely cleared ours up. However, I always tell people we did other things as well. Like we changed the washing powders we use. We make sure we drink a lot of water. So this isn't like this product's going to cure it. In fact, I kind of say it's better for maintenance, because there are times that you might have to still use like a medicated or steroidal cream. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that's not just what you want to be the only thing that you use because of the side effects of it. Right. So if you get it under control, use our product for maintenance, I think you won't have any problems. But awesome. I think some people have used it and thought, well, it didn't clear it up overnight. And I'm like, yeah, it's not a cure. You're still, you know what I mean? So.
Awesome. So in terms of the plant-based, I became a vegan this year. Mm-hmm. And it's really helpful, I think, because my dad had prostate cancer and both my grandfathers did too. So I'm trying to change my lifestyle.
Right.
How important is it to go plant-based? Like, but you mentioned things in nature can be poisonous too, but how important is plant-based lifestyle?
Oh, for me, it's very important. Now, I am not vegan, but I do sell some vegan products, and some are not. Some are not vegan. So we kind of differentiate. Um, but what you put in your body, I mean, it's just so true. You are what you eat, but you're also. I think we think about what we put in our body, but your skin is your biggest organ and it absorbs the things. And your skin is also there to keep bad things out. So
Mhm.
I think it's just as important about what you put on your body as what you're putting into it. And so you want to feed it. You get that one body, so you better take care of it. So from the beginning, from to the end, I think that you will just see better results. You'll be healthier. How do you feel like since you've become vegan? Do you have more energy or um
I mean, I think I have less like stomach issues, I think.
mhm,
So, but yeah, I mean, I like it because I don't have like that worry of, well, I'm gonna get prostate cancer because I'm eating meat, red meat or whatever. I don't have to have
mhm.
that worry, but I think it just gave me a better mental mind state, I think. I have to worry about
Right.
those kind of things.
Yeah.
So,
For me it just feels like a good it felt good knowing that I wasn't adding any additional risk, right? That I was making good choices that I thought would benefit my children in the long run.
right.
So there's definitely, I mean, there's just things in the air, whatever, things that you can't control. But I felt like I was consciously um, uh, not adding to those risks. And it made me feel better,
Makes sense.
but I was just being intentional about it.
Cool. So, as a business owner, what challenges have you faced and then have you overcome them?
Um, One of my biggest challenges was setting prices. I'll be honest with you, because I did not enter into my business for it to be a business, right? It fell into it, it evolved into that. So if I had to do it again, I would have created a business plan in the beginning. Um, Maybe talked with an accountant and figured out, uh, the cost of this is what you're spending on the ingredients. This is how long it takes you to make it. How much are you paying yourself per hour to make it? And then figure out a cost, because I was giving it away, like, literally for free. And then it started costing me so much. I just like $5, for something that other people would charge $30 for. And it was really difficult for me to make a transition to, even when I equated like, and figured out the math of, oh, this is how much it really costs. So this is what you have to charge. Um, it was difficult for me to like go from, well, I used to give this to somebody for $5 to say I can't sell it below 16.50, or it just doesn't make sense, because I didn't pay myself for my time. Um, and it was so hard to tell those same people, because I thought I'm going to lose all my customers, because they're used to paying this. And it wasn't that I didn't believe in the product. I didn't believe that other people would believe in it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Um, and I had to just step out and like become online, because I understood for me it was difficult. And it sounds so stupid. Of course, I wanted to get paid, but it was difficult for me to say this is $15 or this is $20 and to stick to it. Like, and say, oh, I got 8, and I'd say, okay, and it may have cost me $8 to make it, because you can't compare what I was doing in my home business to like Bath and Body Works, who can make the same thing for like 3 cents, because it's primarily water based. If you look on the ingredients, the first thing is water. And, they're paying cents on the dollar for their packaging, where it might have cost me $3 for the same packaging and labeling, because I wasn't making, millions of them. And then your customers don't understand that either. So they want to know, well, why is yours this much? You shouldn't charge as much as this big brand. Some people thought that. Um, I'll give you, for instance, my body butter's 8 ounces. And I think I was charging $12.50 for it, I think. Well, at that time I charged more now. But Bath and Body Works, I think, was $14.50, and theirs was 6 ounces, right? But people would pay for that name, but think I should charge $5. But well, I spent make me two hours to make this batch of 8. So, was that even worth my time to do it? And I had to think about that. And then I had to just say, I'm willing to lose customers. And if it fails, it fails. But if this is what I really want to do and it be sustainable and I'm not getting rich off of it, but at least pay myself for my time and making a small income, then that's what I have to do. And when I took that route, I was able to sustain myself from it. So
you had
I
to,
just had to be willing to take that risk, and
yeah.
it was hard. It was difficult for me.
I understand that for me, because going from not wanting to have a business or not creating it for business and then making money, like, well, I don't want to charge and lose customers, but then the value you're adding to them is like, all right, the value I'm adding to your life is more than what you're paying for, basically.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then you have to see the value in yourself, because if you don't see it, then your customer won't see it, right?
That's it. And you know what? Maybe I didn't see the value. You have that like imposter syndrome, and this is gonna sound crazy, but I did feel like strangers would frequently look at me like I was crazy when I told them my prices. And I had one woman, and this is what kind of started shifting my mindset. And she tried someone else's, and she'd known I'd made products for years. She was a coworker, but she's wealthy and has always been. And she said, I wanted to buy it to support you, but I never got it because I thought I equated your low price to low quality.
Ooh, yes.
And I
That's
thought, and I've never been wealthy. So to me, I thought low price would like equate to value, and you'd say, oh, this is worth so much more than she's charging. But I had several people like pay me more than I was asking for. They give me a $20 when I'd say it was 6 or 8 or something. And they just look at me like I was crazy and say, you need to go up. And I thought, who tells people to charge them?
right.
But that's what was happening. And, and I white labeled for somebody for a while. It was another company, and I made their products, and they were selling. And this is when I really shifted. So I would, it was 8 ounces of body butter that I'd make. She was selling it for $34, that 8 ounces. And I was selling it for 12. And so, and she was selling out. So I was making more money making products for her. Now she didn't do anything but sell the $34, and then I got 50% of it. Wow. But I still made more making it for her than I did for myself. Wow. Same products that I sell myself, like just change the name. But wow. She just believed it was worth it, and she sold it, and she had a customer base. They knew she wasn't making it. They knew I made it,
Wow.
And I thought to myself, I'm robbing myself. I can't be mad at anybody else. And she kept telling me, you need to just quit your job and do this full time. You can do it for me. I'll do all the marketing. Because the truth is, I didn't really want to be responsible for having to like engage with like customers a lot. I have anxiety. It's not terrible, but I do have it. And I didn't want to have to be at home all day and doing customer service and that. I just wanted to make the products. Well, she did all of that, the internet marketing, the website and the social media, getting on and doing videos talking about products, because she did not work. This is how she made money, but I'm making her products. You see what I mean? And here she is, an independent, able to pay, a mother of 2, able to pay her bills, purchase a new home, like moving up, and she's doing these things on products that I'm making, and I'm still like making a few cents off of it when I sell it. It was just stupid. And I thought I've got to change But it was that fear. She was not afraid to fail, and I was,
That's the
So,
thing. That's the risk. Fear of failure stops so many people from taking the dreams that's out of their hearts and putting them out into reality, or the dreams out of their mind. Because a dream starts in the mind, the concept. When you put it into reality, like this microphone was once a concept,
right.
now it's actual microphone. But the person took a risk. They would say, well, there are other microphones out there, but maybe I can make one that's better, one that's more, has more whatever the microphone's made of.
Right.
More, make it better than, make it better than what's currently out there. And they did it. Same thing for you. I mean, you were making money, but she making money because she had somebody doing something for her. And you were the person behind the scenes putting in the work, but she's the person in front of the people getting the customers in off of your great product. Wow.
Yeah. I let fear definitely hold me back. And I think too, she, it's just so easy to stay in that, like punching the time clock, because that is guaranteed money. And so even though I made sometimes less going to work than I would when I had a good week of selling my products. And if I put that same energy into my own business that I was putting into that job that I went to every day and didn't really love, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm sure I would be in a whole different stratosphere. But I understood what was holding me back. I just couldn't undo it, if that made sense. Because it was just fear.
That's a whole conversation right there we can have on another episode. So let's transition to you being a mom, and then we have about 9 minutes, but you being a mom and then also losing your son. So talk about that briefly, like take us through like what happened to you and your son very quickly.
When I was 38 years old, my eldest son had just turned 21 and moved he turned 21 in January, and he transferred schools in January. And so he moved to a school 7 hours away in Murfreesboro, North Carolina. My youngest son was a senior in high school. So this was the transition in my life, thinking for the first time in my adult life, honestly, I will be by myself in a few months. And I'm thinking about, what am I going to do now? Buying a new car so I can travel to see them on campus, and thinking it's about to be the time of my life. And in March, I got a phone call that, well, something's wrong with Fari. He's on his way to the hospital. He collapsed. And about 30 minutes later, I found out that he had passed away. He had
Oh, it stopped. Oh. Well, my guest disappeared, so she was talking about her son and how he passed away. Hopefully we'll be able to get her back. We'll come back for the second part of the Your Money Hour podcast.